both.
Yes.
Live. It's Monday Night Live. And in St. George. You're waiting for me to say it, aren't you? Monday Night Live in sunny St. George. Welcome, everybody. I'm D. Nixon, Kate Semmens, TurningLeaf Health and Wellness in sunny St. George. Yes. We are excited. It is a hot time of year, which I love. I'm a reptile by nature, and so we're into the heat finally. Anyway, enough with the weather. We're excited to get back on Facebook and Instagram, coming at you live on 3 different venues.
1, 2, and 3. It's always kind of a miracle when we pop in on all 3 and nothing has happened. So we are just doing so good this
I was
time.
nervous that one of them was going to fall again, and we were going to have all of our blooper reels, and oh my goodness. So we're good. We're excited to get back with you tonight and to go over our topic.
Right. Which if you can remember, if you watched last week's Monday Night Live, if you haven't, pause right here. Go watch that one and then catch us after the live.
Right.
So that you stay on track. But last week my father was in the hospital in the intensive care unit. And so the topic that we were talking about was how to still stay on course and make sure that you're moving your life forward towards your why, even during times of difficulty, because it's really easy for us, at least for people like me, to lose ourselves when we go into times of difficulty and to just like abandon ship, and lose that course, lose that compass, lose that northern star that we're kind of trying to make our life move forward with. As an update, just because so many of you have reached out, and you know me, and vulnerability and all of that kind of stuff. But my dad did end up passing away last week, early Saturday morning. And we were able to have a few days with him, really lucid and coherent, and had some beautiful times. And then a few days with him on comfort measures, which if you've ever had any of your loved ones go that way, it's very bittersweet, because they say the hearing is the last to go. So my dad basically was asleep for 2.5 days. But we feel like he was there listening to all of our conversations as all of my siblings and some of our very dear close family friends came to visit and say goodbye. And I've been thinking a lot the last couple of days about, I know I have lots of friends. I've lost friends at young ages. I've had lots of friends who have lost their parents when they were quite young. And whether you are 30 when you lose somebody, or someone is 30 when you lose them, or they're 75 like my dad, or they lived to be in nearly 100, or whatever it may look like, there's never enough time, I think, until time doesn't matter. And it's my belief system that one day we'll be able to be reunited with my father again and all of my loved ones that have already passed. So just an update on that. So yes, still very much needing this topic, which we part 2'd because we did not get through all of everything that just kept kind of rolling in here as we started talking about this.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you for letting me.
You know, our hearts with you, and I'm sure all the viewers their heart is with you as well, and with your family. Yeah. You know, I know that your father was very influential in your life and taught you a lot. So what do you feel like?
The first man I ever loved, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what every dad wants to hear. So what do you feel like the most important thing he ever taught you was?
My dad lived large. He was a big man in stature, and he lived his life that way as well. We were talking to one of his best friends from his early 20s, 30s, right out of Air Force buddies, and he said they called him TJ. My dad's name is Thomas James Semmens. Most people around here in Southern Utah know him as Jim, Big Jim, in fact. But that part of his life called him TJ, and he said, TJ, he had the biggest heart. Big guy, big heart, big brain, because he was super smart too. So my dad, he was, when Coins for Kids first started doing all their stuff, he was one of the first ones to sign up to be Santa Claus. So many great memories as a little girl, being an elf with my dad, delivering Christmases on Sunday, or on Christmases to people, with him being Santa. my dad until he couldn't, so for a lot of years he was pretty sick, but he lived for everybody else, just selfless service, and loved his family fiercely. He was amazing at that. Just kind of really kept his priorities right, I think. So I think that's what I learned from him most.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm sure the viewers, as I said, I know their hearts are with you and your family, and thank you for sharing just a little bit of a glimpse of him. And I know as a father myself, to have a daughter say that the first man you ever loved, I'm sure that just warms his heart beyond measure. And I know for an assurity he's very proud of you. I know you've been all of your sisters and your brother, that you guys are such great kids, and I'm sure he just is smiling and loving on you guys like crazy right now. So
in fact, he as we were just kind of in comfort measures waiting for him to move on, we're like, why is he going to go anywhere? Like, his favorite thing is happening right now. We're all here. We're all chatting. We're just spending time together. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, so that was pretty neat to be able to spend some really good quality time together as a family.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thanks
part
for
of your
listening,
life.
guys. I appreciate it.
And so the question being, and this is where to kind of transition, and I don't mean it to be disrespectful to your father or any of those things, but and we really want to honor him. And so, in honor of him, it is, how do you hold that space? How do you stay your course? And at the end of the time that we had last week, we were kind of running out of time. And that was one of the things that we wanted to talk about, was we really were talking about anchoring into that why, and how to stay anchored into that why. And a lot of that had to do, and that's where we were coming from, is how we do that is by really understanding where our why is coming from.
Yes.
And that's kind of where we left off last week, is a lot of times our why is not our why. Sometimes that why is connected to what other people have inferred, or as we looked out in society and thought, oh, I should be, or maybe somebody told us this is who you should be,
or this is what a good life looks like.
Right.
Like, if you're going to lead a good life or live correctly, right, then this is what it looks like.
Yes.
So that should be what you want.
And a lot of times people wind up in those venues and in those situations, and then they walk away at the very end kind of wondering why they got there, how they got there, or why they're so discontent in what it is that they're participating in, or any of those things. And that is really, really important for us to understand. So in order for me to stay anchored, oftentimes I have to really understand, is this what I want? Right. Is this my why? Is this my purpose in life? And this is the thing that's so intriguing to me, is a lot of times we grow up in social structures like our homes, our family. Sometimes there's a cultural aspect in communities, a religious aspect, or things of that nature. And so a lot of those things really guide and direct how we make our decisions. And in our minds, they become that construct that I live within.
Right, what we decide is our compass.
Right. But organically, like within us, we are wired with a purpose or a task that we can feel connected to, that oftentimes resonates on a level that we can't quite comprehend. And that's why there are times where people will literally stray or leave or rebel from that construct in order to chase their why, if that makes sense.
Correct, yes. So I'm sorry, because I'm having a lot of, you guys know how, you're starting to learn how my brain works, I think. So I'm having a lot of mental chatter, and I'm just kind of coming to the conclusion, and I know that life is not this transparent and not this black and white, but potentially this could be a real big player in that midlife crisis
100%.
arena, right? Like
100%.
You get to this point in your life and you're like, what the heck have I even been chasing and doing that's not even what I want, right?
Right.
So being able to figure out how to ground into what we actually really do want, strip away all the like societal construct, just like Dean was just saying, right? Like familial, societal, cultural, whatever that looks like really digging into who you are. And I think that's a really unique place that we're at on the planet these days.
Yes.
To even be like almost even given the opportunity to sort through and figure it out. Whereas before it was like tradition, or, you know, you weren't exposed to a lot of different things that could potentially be what your North Star is. But now we are. We're just so rampant, and it being the world getting smaller and smaller, it gives us more vision as to, no, that's what I want.
Yeah. And it's more visible. It's more globally connected than ever before. And a lot of societal norms are stripping away and slipping away. And as those things do, they open up more doors and more potential. But I think one of the things that's important for us as human beings is to really do our best to tune into what we feel true to ourselves. And you know, here at TurningLeaf, we're always pushing the concept of discernment. And discernment is, you know, that heart aspect coming together in connection with the mind in balance piece, and really tuning into what is my heart and head telling me is my true why, and then anchoring into that during those tough times, anchoring into that when we feel weak or when we don't feel strong enough, but it pushes us beyond where we think we can go.
Right. I like those little things that we were kind of talking about last week. It gets us to not hit snooze anymore, right?
Right.
Gets us out of bed when it's hard, and we'd rather just stay in bed. Instead, we can put our feet on the floor and move forward.
And it's that lifestyle versus what I should do.
Right.
And that's, you know, using that snooze button, using that the ever universal theme of, you know, weight loss or something along those lines, where it's like, I gotta go work out, instead of, oh, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to get active, I'm going to do something that's gonna move my body. So if my why is I want to stay fit, I want to stay healthy, I want to have longevity, I want to fit in my clothes and be comfortable, I want to be comfortable participating in the activities I want to participate in, then it's not always about the gym, it's not always about the diet, it's about
or even about the number,
or the number on the scale, or the number of the dress size. It has to do with being active, staying active, finding things that you enjoy that are active, that you can participate in, so that you can always, you know, do those things like power yoga. Looping back to 2 episodes ago.
You have got a lot to watch if you are caught up.
And that concept of I love the yoga concept. I love what it does for my flexibility, what it does for my heart, what it does for my body, and that whole concept. And that lifestyle piece is more important than the number, the size, the shape, etc. Is, can I bend over and tie my dang shoes? That's one thing that I'm so grateful for, is I want to be able to clip my own toenails as I get older, you know, simple things.
And I love that you bring that up, because it is that lifestyle, right? And that's what's going to take us toward the end result of our why.
Right.
It's every day, it's the consistencies, which is what I'm working on in this transformation journey. Every session I have with Dean, with my life coaching as of late, being in the TurningLeaf transformation that we started a month and a half ago.
If you don't know what it is, we'll explain in a minute.
Yes, is that consistency piece, which, once again, if you're like me, I kind of struggle with it. It's pretty easy for me to just be like, ooh, this is getting hard, bounce, or ooh, look at that shiny, fun trip to Universal Studios, bounce, instead of keeping the consistency and making those small inch by inch steps, instead of feeling like you have to travel like 6 yards at a time.
Right, right. And those simple lifestyle pieces that hold us accountable. And so the transformation itself is really cool, because we've partnered with the Twisted Noodle, which does the Twisted Kitchen meal prep.
Delicious, by the way.
Which is phenomenal. We've done we're partnered in with Inside Out Hyperbarics, and then we're doing the life coaching and the coaching concept. So we're taking care of the emotional, we're taking care of the physical, and we're taking care of the nutrition and all the things that we need. And so Kate's jumped right in full-fledged, really killing it and doing well. But the one thing, do you remember what the one challenge I gave you last was?
Yes. Of course I do, Dean, because I went like this.
You were fit. You were not happy.
So I tend to run late. I'm a late runner. I blamed it on my mom for years. Like, it's genetic. I got it from my mom. So in my last coaching session, Dean challenged me to be 10 minutes early to every time commitment that I have. I would like to return and report. Thank heavens I haven't had very many time commitments. But I'm doing okay.
Yes. And that's the thing that's so critical about this type of thing is we try to transform all these big pieces. We try and move the heavy pieces, the big obstacles. It's like, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that to really transform my life. But sometimes it's as simple as taking one simple piece that we may be wrestling with that is actually the thread that binds everything else together. I love there was this great video a while ago that went around, and it was I think it was a colonel or somebody speaking at a graduation, and he was challenging everybody, just make your bed. Just get up every morning and make your bed. And he was talking about how much discipline that created in life and how it ripples out. But what he was talking about is he's talking about the anchoring principle. And there's an anchoring principle here. And the anchoring principle is simply this, is when I can take something that tends to be an obstacle for me, so as you put it so well, being late, and you can create an anchoring principle around it. So it doesn't have to be huge. It's just show up 10 minutes early. And you take that one anchoring principle and you work that one anchoring principle, the rest of the pieces will fall into place around it. And that's where he was coming from, is just make your bed. Now, being the son of a drill sergeant, my father, big shout out to my father, 94 years old, still going, love the guy, is with that concept, we learn to make our beds. We learn to shine our shoes. We learn to do all the things that you need to learn to do being the son of a drill sergeant. But those simple things become anchoring points, and that anchoring principle allows you to do more. So, as you've done that, what have been your results?
Well, like I said, I'm luckily have not had many time commitments because, when life falls apart a little bit underneath you, then people are really gracious, and I haven't worked, I haven't done any of those things, but I have made a conscious effort about it, which it's going to be an adjustment for sure, but it also for me has already brought a sense of confidence and ability to have a little bit more self-love and compassion for myself.
Absolutely. And the beautiful part is that really connects to, and a big shameless plug again, to the 4 Steps to Confidence book, which one of the steps is to make and keep commitments. And that is that commitment piece. So that's an important piece. So
I love that you brought up the book, because I was going to bring it up as far as different ways that you can really learn and start to anchor into who you are in order to be able to move forward in the direction of your true why.
Yep. Love it. Well, we're out of time. Again.
I don't even know if we really touched on the topic all that much, but we had a really good conversation today. I loved it.
It is a good conversation. We did touch on our topic. We two-parted it.
Yeah.
And so big shout out to those of you tuning in. Thank you, Parrish, for your wishes. And Krista, we miss you too. Some of you can't see these because they're on different feeds. But again, we want to offer some more free tickets. We've got a total of... Next week, we'll be handing out our last ones. So they gave us 6 to hand out. So we've got, again, this is a Summer Slam. They're $10, so a total of $20 value. And it helps, though, the community of working with our youth in our community. So those of you that want to participate in this, it is going to be August 9th at the Washington County Fairgrounds from 4:30 to 10. It is the Summer Slam. They've got a concert. They've got all sorts of amazing things. Fireworks.
They've got lots of cool stuff.
Really cool. So those of you that win the tickets, please.
Because I just noticed this, but all proceeds that they raise that night are going to go to Lexi Vaape. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Yeah, they're going to some families. That need them. Yeah, they're families that need them, and it's a way that helps out the families, and especially with our youth.
So that's cool to have a charitable contribution portion of it as well.
So if you win the tickets, take somebody with you. $5 for kids, $10 for adults. So the way to win the tickets is the first, again, like we did last week. Big shout out to Krista Roundtree who won. Just put in the comments, and whoever comments first, I want the tickets, will again win these tickets.
You'll get them.
So congratulations to Krista. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Kate, for being so vulnerable.
Thank you, Dean.
Our love and hearts are with you and your family in this time of mourning and loss. For those of you tuning in, Kate had gone through this process of losing her father and her family going through recently. So we love her and we're thankful for her always, being strong here and showing up tonight. She could have used that as an excuse. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Like and share our videos. Let people know that we're out there. Hopefully you found some answers in these messages and you can bring others to finding this information.
Yes, we love you. Have a wonderful week.
Yes, I'll go high.
You got it. I got love.
You got love.